Hello, I'm David Nagel from Mississippi State University, and this is Gardening Through the Seasons for April. Today we're going to talk about selecting transplants and how to plant them. The first thing you need to look at with transplants is examine the tops of the plant. They should be free from disease. They should be nice and green. The fact that they're pale yellow may or may not be a problem. A lot of times in the greenhouse they withhold the nutrients to make them a more tough plant. So the fact that they're pale green is not a problem. You just don't want to see any spots, any disease problems. But as much as the tops are important, what's more important are the roots. When you take the plants, and the guy in the greenhouse is not going to appreciate this, you need to pull it out of the tray to get a look at the roots. But there's a way to do that. You need to take and squeeze the bottom of the tray. This loosens it, you can see it pushing out, and then grab it right where it comes out of the ground and pull it out. What a lot of folks do is they'll grab it and unfortunately they'll bend like that and pull out, and about half the time that plant's going to die. Now, after you've got it out, look at the roots. The roots should be white. If they're tan, if they're brown, that means that plant's roots are dying, and you don't want that plant. You want one with nice white roots like this. The fact that these roots are starting to circle is not a problem. This is a good transplant. It's got nice, healthy roots. Okay, when it comes time to make a planting hole, particularly for vegetable crops, you want to make a deep hole because the vegetable crops do better the deeper they're planted. What I'm using is a bulb planter. If you don't have a bulb planter, don't worry about it. Just make a big hole. But you make a deep hole. You put it the right spacing for what you're growing. And you make these holes. After you've dug the holes, the next thing to do is to fill them with water. You can either use just plain water, or you can use one of the high phosphorus fertilizers, and you put about a tablespoon to a gallon of water. But you fill up the hole, then you walk away and you let it drain for a while. Now that you're ready to plant, these are watermelons, and these are the cotyledonary leaves, and that's where you want to plant to at a minimum. That's why you need a deep hole. So you take your plant, you put it in that hole down in that good moist soil, and you very gently put soil around it. Now this is a tomato plant. These are those two cotyledonary leaves. Same deal, you see how tall that is. You plant the exact same way. You put it in the hole so that it reaches the bottom. You take that soil and you fill it loosely. Sometimes the water still wells up around it. And it looks like that thing's just about buried in the ground. That's just fine. As long as something green sticking out, you're still in good shape with a vegetable. Now when it comes to planting flowers, it's a different ball game. You do not, I repeat, you do not plant flowers as deeply as you plant vegetables. You don't want to have that flower root ball any deeper than it is in the container. So on this marigold, one of the nice things about these trowels with the markings on it, you can see it's just about a 2 on this trowel. So we go about a 2 on the trowel. Just like with the vegetables, once we've got the holes dug, you come by and you fill up that hole with water. Once you're done watering, you let it drain, and then you do the same thing. You take your plant, you squeeze the bottom, you grasp it right where it comes out, you come to the hole and make sure that it's at the same level. And then once again, you take that soil and loosely pack it around the plant. That's the advantage of having that wet soil, that you're going to get a good root soil contact because everything is wet. Okay, this is Sweet Williams or Dianthus. Again, we squeeze the bottom and we gently pull that plant. This was not quite as deep as those marigolds were. So you take a little soil and put it in that next wet and make sure that it's at the same level as the soil, and then we loosely pack that soil around it. You notice that it's at the same level, whereas with the vegetables, the deeper the better. With flowers, you do not want to cover the top of that root ball. Now, it's fine to put mulch over that, but do not put soil. That's Gardening Through the Seasons for April. I'm David Nagel.